Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemons, and the new season of Marvel Rivals is here. This season dropped July 11th and features a new great hero, great new team-ups, and a new map that is already killing me. It's okay, I'm fine, I need to calm down. With all the new bells and whistles, there's also of course hidden details and Easter eggs in these interactions between Phoenix and the other characters, and unlockables you might have overlooked during regular gameplay. So let's dive into the new season of Marvel Rivals, exploring the updated features, Easter eggs, and details you might have missed. Marvel Rivals dropped their new third season and disclosed they'll be launching a new season every 2 months. So essentially, we could be getting a new hero every month. Our first new character to set it off is Jean Grey's Phoenix. But, let's run it back all the way to the top before we get into Jean Grey. They've already established the big bad this season is Knull, and Knull's presence was first alluded to back when the Guardians visited Clintar in Season 0. Clintar Celestial Husk is the new map featured this season, and as Marvel Rivals says, once a throne, a trophy, and a symbol of unfathomable power, Clintar now drifts in silence. Its creator imprisoned within the planet's core. After the decaying body of the Celestial slain by Knull plummeted from orbit, the land grew to absorb its ancient power. Within their 3 rounds, 3 locations, Celestial Vault, Celestial Hand, and Celestial Codex, the new map is a domination map with a ton of details. We'll begin with Celestial Hand. Depending on whether you're attacking or defending or whatever, you can spawn in this room. Both first spawning points feel like research facilities over the Phoenix Force, harboring a feather of the Phoenix and the console you can interact with more information. Lots of strange information are on these data boards covering the Milano, the ship the Guardians used when it crashed on this planet. Back in Season 0, the Guardians of the Galaxy were sent by Shuri to investigate Clintar and Knull's encroaching darkness on the Wakandan gods. They end up crash landing on Clintar, which forms the attacking side of the first map, where the Guardians of the Galaxy escort Knull's essence away to explode it and bury it. They note the plant life and confirm that the plants are actually just symbiotes pretending to be harmless plants, which you can also see as you venture through the terrain. They got little tongues sticking out, or they're just straight up symbiotes. At the bottom of the board it says updated, risk cancel, and Groot wrote this, and it ties into another panel. Actually, this panel. This panel discusses the symbiote-host relationship that was formed, how Venom and the Guardians ceased fire, and Groot was able to establish a connection and link with them. This is explored on Groot's lore page, where he wandered into the edge of the jungle to find all the plant symbiotes and befriended them. So to Groot, there's no risk with these plants, they're just friends. Which is also a conversation he has with Jean Grey.
I have a plan that could help us all. If only the others could understand me.
There are some notes with a silhouette of someone I thought could be Groot bonded with a symbiote, but it also could be Carnage. It's probably Groot, but it could be Carnage. On another board, Peter talks about how the Phoenix power burnt the symbiotes and Rocket tried to put it into Star-Lord's gun, but it couldn't seem to bear the power. To which Shuri responded to use vibranium as a buffer system. And we all know what vibranium is. A nice little Easter egg here is that Shuri's responses are signed with her name and is translated in Wakandan. Another panel discusses the relationship between Jean and the Phoenix Force. Jean confirms how unstable the Phoenix Force can make a person, but they felt it was okay with her. In the center of the room is another information deck that tells us the Phoenix Force is about 2,000 degrees Celsius in its core, 385 degrees on the outside, and 1,200 degrees towards the center. If you move around the podium, it provides information on various weapons, and I presume Rocket was trying to infuse the Phoenix Force into these weapons, which you can see on the other side of the room as well. On the wall are all the weapons. It's the Wakandan Spear, Black Widow's Sniper Gun, Magic Soul Sword, Moon Knight's Blades, Rocket's Gun, and Bruce Banner's gun. At the podium, you see a hologram detailing general weaponry, mystical weaponry, and organic weaponry, and I believe that will eventually go to the Phoenix 7, which we'll get into a little bit later in the video. Each has more details regarding how they can be used. General weapons are slightly more powerful, absorb more, and heat up quickly. For the mystical weapons, like Namor's Trident, it has strong power absorption, immediate power increase, and a significant mental instability when yielded. In organic weaponry, it has no retention, immediate consumption, then ask, what is anti-life? Anti-life is also another name given to the living abyss. It's the source from which Knull, the god of the symbiotes, created his symbiotes and other dark entities. For the Wakandan weapons, it's stable, coexistence with the Phoenix Force for at least 48 hours, and mental affliction due to divine collision. That's a lot of words, that's just what it says on the screen. And for the Spartex weaponry, like Star-Lord's guns, it can absorb more, it can absorb better, but it can overheat very quickly. However, if you spawn in the other research area, you'll get a lot more of everything else. We see a hologram of the Celestial, I assume the one that Knull killed. It's impaled. In one of its many landscape shots, you'll see the fallen Celestial, and the map is really just covered in its remnants of this dead Celestial. It's actually very tragic to see pieces of it just everywhere on Clintar. On the wall, we'll see pieces of the Celestial that Rocket was tinkering with as well, and on the table below that are 2 gold bands, which could belong to someone like Miss Marvel, of course. However, Marvel Rivals sticks pretty close to the comics, so if these are the Quantum Bands, it could be Wendell Vaughn, aka Quasar. Or it could be anyone else. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Quantum Bands, it's just that we know the Quantum Bands. It's definitely not Shang-Chi, because Shang-Chi has 10 rings. It's probably Quasar. On another screen, we'll see the depiction of the Celestial's body with the fragments removed, and below that is the hologram of Clintar. You can see the black symbiotes just stretching across the planet, and you can see the Guardian ship, the Milano, circling it. Once you leave the spawn areas, then you head towards the capture point, and that's when you get the Phoenix egg and the egg research. On the research hologram board about the egg, you find its records, how it has drastic influence on its surroundings, special abnormalities detected, the White Room detected. The White Room is a realm that functions as both the afterlife and a base of operations for the Phoenix and its host from Marvel Comics. In the Celestial Vault, in the middle of the map, you'll actually find Knull's all-black Necro Sword, the one that killed the Celestial. It also speaks to different people through the game. Also, the Necro Sword is just famous from all things, especially the comics. Once we get to the Celestial Codex area, you'll find a piece of the Celestial Codex that we saw in the first Clintar map. Like in its in-game accessory, captured a while back, the Codex left in one's body after a symbiote bonds with his host, the gods corrupted by Knull also possess the remnant. It's just basically a piece of the symbiote. The symbiote's codex that can be left on a host after a symbiote bonds with it, and it can remain there even if they separate. However, this codex is part of the Celestial, which Knull wants to use to free himself. So that's a lot of details on the new map, but returning to Knull being the big bad, we also knew this was coming from Season 2.5 Cerebro Database 2 Events Gallery, foreshadowing his arrival in Season 3. In this, Adam Warlock basically sensed Knull's presence, which Venom quickly picked up on, and Black Panther expressed his concern for the Wakandan goddess Bass, and this left Mr. Fantastic free to continue his investigation and confirm that Knull was growing stronger, snuffing out stars as they spoke. Setting up Knull was easy enough, however, it wasn't until Marvel Games suggested using Phoenix to rise against Knull. Then, in their words, we got Phoenix and the symbiotes, light and darkness, fire and the living abyss that fears the flame. Most Marvel fans probably know Jean Grey. She's the key character from X-Men. Although the Phoenix Force is absolutely usually linked to her, I would argue that since I don't know, the year 2000, you might have seen Jean Grey more as an individual character rather than solely the Phoenix, except for, in the 2019 film Dark Phoenix. The Phoenix Force is an immortal, indestructible, immutable manifestation of the prime universal force of life, serving as the nexus of all psionic energy. It does not have to belong exclusively to Jean. It's always connected to a host and has been passed to her daughter in the past, Rachel Summers. In one comic, the Phoenix Force even manifested in Echo. We'll also learn by the end of this video a lot of people have touched the Phoenix Force. As you'll learn in some of the interactions between Jean, Phoenix, and other characters, people don't necessarily like the Phoenix, or maybe just they don't trust it. Like its name, it resurrects from the ashes, usually after destroying everything in its sight. It's unyielding and risks Jean losing control all over again. In the Marvel Rivals lore, it's established that Jean left her mutant friends behind on Krakoa. Krakoa launched with Season 2 Hellfire Gala on April 11th, along with Emma Frost, our baddest baddie. Jean had a long-distance relationship at this time with Scott Summers, presumably soaring across the cosmos as now the host of the Phoenix. She would contact him via her telepathic powers. Although the temporal storm that ripped across reality, initiated by the time-sharing entanglement, severed her ties to speaking to anyone from Krakoa, it just seemed like Krakoa vanished. She was able to locate Krakoa in the future, where Krakoa returned with Storm, Magneto, Magic, Emma, and Logan, but just no Scott. In search of Scott, she then was intercepted by an alert from the Phoenix that a massive star was also dying. Knull! We all know it's Knull. Jean and Knull have come face to face before in Marvel Comics, notably in the King in Black storyline, which is also the nickname you're going to hear a lot throughout Marvel Rivals for Knull. The King in Black is a major comic event that ran from 2020 to 2021, written by Donny Cates and illustrated by Ryan Stegman. It follows after Absolute Carnage, where we release Knull and he messes everything up, planning to extinguish all light and life in existence. Jean actually gets into Knull's mind and finds a way to stop him, and it's through the Enigma Force, in a way leading it to Earth and having Eddie Brock become its host. The Enigma Force plays a role in another character in Marvel Rivals this season, and we'll get into that shortly. Now recognizing Knull's influence on Clintar, which is light years away from Jean, she and Phoenix take a shortcut through the Divine Space. In Moon Knight's lore in the game From Dusk of the New Moon, we learn that Khonshu dwells here as well. The Divine Space is a realm of reality that can only be accessed and traversed by those with vast cosmic powers. This makes sense as Bass, the Wakandan goddess, is present along with many other gods who Knull has already possessed. Luckily, Phoenix can save them, and as Jean and Phoenix recover, she allows her mind to just wander, thus drifting between glimpses of the past and the present and possibly the future. Then she grasps a flood of scarlet energy. Phoenix inevitably embraces it, giving her a burning scarlet crown on Jean's head. This is the Scarlet Witch. This is the new costume for Jean. You guys, I don't even think it's a hint. You can see it. We'll also get into Scarlet Witch and the costumes a little bit later. More characters will be featured in this war with their new suits featured alongside them or with their new team-up abilities. We'll see other characters intertwine into the story alongside the god of the symbiotes Knull. He also has Hela, the goddess of death. We still rope in Blade from last season, who with Dracula's sword teams up with Jean and Venom to take on Knull. However, as of right now, we only have Hela, Jean, and Venom on our roster. Blade we're expecting to come at the mid-season update. Interestingly enough, they wanted the team to share a bit of duality, a curse and a blessing, like Jean and the Phoenix Force, Eddie Brock and the symbiote, Blade being both vampire and human. It's a nice little mixture. Now onto the real meat of it all. Jean Grey is a duelist along with Wolverine and many others at a 3-star difficulty rating similar to the Human Torch. In her ultimate, she merges with the Phoenix Force to clear enemy summons from the battlefield and deal immense damage. The game's first notable team up with Jean is with Wolverine, and it's called Primal Flame, where she can infuse Wolverine with the Phoenix Force. Once you feral leap as Wolverine, it activates and you roll a ton of flaming hits, burning nearby enemies and adding lifesteal to all of Wolverine's attacks. As we know, Wolverine is famously, in love with Jean, so them having a team up is expected. Symbiote Shenanigans is a team up with Hela, Venom, and Jeff. It originally was just Jeff and Venom. Seeing as Jeff had found a balance and kindred spirit between himself and Venom beyond their love of just chomping on things, they added Hela for the added fun, seeing as she's teamed up with Knull. In this team up, the two have fused into Hela's Soul Drain and can use Symbiote Snare, linking them together and slowing them down. Stark Protocol is a team up between Iron Man and Ultron, in which they've added Squirrel Girl. It's less symbiote and more nanotechy. She now has a nanotech gauntlet. Everburning Bond is a team up with Human Torch and Spider-Man. The two had a very brotherly bond in the comics, which is still reflected here in Marvel Rivals, as they found their powers to be successful when working together. Channeling his flames to Spidey's gadget, he can now shoot a flaming web because he wasn't already beating my ass enough. This leaves a bit of a lingering damage, and like his classic Spidey Tracer, he can zip to any enemy with a burn tracer that causes an explosion with extra burn damage. The burn tracer and the Spidey Tracer can be attached, so you can get more combos, again, because he wasn't beating my ass enough already. As you already know, my two favorite team ups that helped me out last season, Human Torch and Storm and Squirrel Girl and Spider-Man, were both retired. As a girl who mains Sue, I get nothing! But as a girl who also mains Squirrel Girl, Scarlet Witch, and Iron Man, I feel like I don't really get to fight about my characters because I'm very overly blessed with those three. As with the new abilities, there are 10 new skins added to the battle pass, 8 of which are costumes or skins pulled directly or inspired from Marvel Comics. So essentially, just infused with the power of the Phoenix Force or different versions of symbiote infected heroes. Their separated teams are divided into the Clintar Warriors and the Phoenix Force. The battle pass is divided into 10 pages, each containing skins along with new sprays, name cards, and currency, similar to the previous seasons. Although this is a shorter season and the battle pass can be completed at a faster pace, which to me is a bonus. As for the symbiote infected skins, we have Squirrel Girl Symbiote Squirrel that first appeared in the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl issue number 5 in 2015. Funny enough, this scene from the comics, though a little bit of a gag, was inspired by Spider-Man's Black Suit's first appearance, which is also a new suit featured in this game. Black Suit Spider-Man, which first appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 252 in 1963, is also in this game. The new suit comes with the symbiote Spider-Man emote, the Bully Maguire dance that you definitely remember from Spider-Man 3. Jeff's Devouring Duo, which first appeared in Deadpool issue number 10 in 2019. Then we get Rocket Symbiote Raccoon, the first appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 22 in 2013. We get Groot's Symbiote Flora, which is undeniably probably the sickest outfit. I'm sorry, I love Jeff's, but ooh, this one is Chef Kiss. Chef Kiss. This first appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 21 in 2013. On the Phoenix Force side, we get costumes for Wolverine's Weapon Phoenix, which first appeared in Avengers issue number 42 in 2018. Namor's Phoenix King, that first appeared in Avengers vs. X-Men issue number 5 in 2012. Emma Frost, the baddest, in her Phoenix Diamond, which first appeared in Avengers vs. X-Men issue number 5 in 2012 as well. Then we get the gold and white colored costumes for Black Panther's Golden Panther and Adam Warlock's King in White, which are both first appearing in season 3 Marvel Rivals. Good for them. In addition to those Battle Pass costumes, we have a new event, the Milano Repair Logs, which once finished gives you the amazing Storm symbiote suit. This shouldn't be free. This should cost $100. It looks amazing. As with all the legendary skins in Marvel Rivals, they also come with a little bit of new sound bits. For the Venom infused ones, it's a bit of Venom-esque like reverb, but also a lot more chomping. We also get new small keychains that can be displayed on your hero in game, which you can get with accessory points earned by playing matches in quick match or in competitive. I love that Emma's is just a purse. Additional characters will be introduced with new skins further down the line. In the gallery, there's news of the Phoenix 7, and it's to be expected that each of those characters that we haven't seen yet will be equipped in Phoenix Force attire. I should correct myself. We have seen them, we just haven't seen them in the Phoenix 7 yet. However, as for the main attraction, Phoenix's default outfit is an armor-like carapace for the upper body with green tights below. Behind her is the Phoenix Force, depicted as the woman engulfed in flames. This representation representation diverges from the traditional image of the Phoenix bird we typically encounter, or at least I typically encounter. However, it's not uncommon to see a fiery woman as a representation in other comics. Her next outfit is the Chaos Phoenix, created for Marvel Rivals for her storyline this season with the Scarlet Witch. The fiery Phoenix behind her now has a Wanda headband to bond their venture. She also has a headpiece similar to Wanda's and feathers. Her MVP also includes Wanda flying in the background, so we, or at least I, will expect another skin for Wanda. Her last outfit shown is the return of Jean Grey. It's now blue and red. The costume first appeared in X-Men Red, issue number 1 in 2018, along with the quote from the same comic. Much of the fun with Phoenix, as with many of the other characters that can often go unnoticed, lies in the dialogue, both during and before the battle. In Phoenix's dialogue, they switch between Phoenix and Jean Grey talking, which is actually a really nice touch and I really like it. Jean and Storm have a lot of banter. They call each other sister, as we know, and Jean talks about missing her and all the things she learned while searching the cosmos. Jean speaks to Storm about standing with her in battle, questioning Storm's choice to join based on whether it's Jean or Phoenix asking that question, since everyone, hates the Phoenix Force, or as I mentioned earlier, it's more of like, they just don't trust Phoenix. Phoenix recognizes Mantis as the Celestial Madonna. In Marvel Comics, Mantis was prophesied to be the Celestial Madonna and give birth to the Messiah of the universe, and this led to a lot of very weird comic booky disaster-y things. It's an endless black hole of that stuff. It's crazy that they kind of addressed it. Between Phoenix and Captain America, she awes at how powerful he is as a human and suggests the idea that he's capable of harboring the Phoenix Force one day, which has happened in the comics. In Avengers issue number 40, it briefly bonded with Captain America. We see Jean can talk with Groot because she's telepathic, so it comes out more than I am Groot. Emma can also do the same thing in Marvel Rivals. The Phoenix remembers Magic because Magic was a host for the Phoenix Force. It was a concept also found in the Marvel Comics for a really brief period of time. Namor discusses hosting Phoenix again, and in the same issue with Magic, he also hosted the Phoenix Force. Phoenix suggested that Squirrel Girl, being pure of heart, is worthy enough to be the next host of the Phoenix Force, just like Captain America. Then it's revealed that Phoenix was actually talking to Tippy Toe, her squirrel that's always on her head or her shoulders, which I think is very funny. Jean talks about how Spider-Man was a host once, and it was for the Enigma Force. As you may recall from earlier in the video, we discussed how Eddie Brock possessed the Enigma Force. Spider-Man was the host of the Enigma Force as well in Acts of Vengeance, becoming Cosmic Spider-Man. Phoenix tempts Scarlet Witch, saying chaos and creation have always gone hand in hand, suggesting more of their team up, which we'll see play out through the season 3 storyline. Star-Lord asks if Jean has spoken with Kitty Pryde, who famously dated Star-Lord in the comics. Oh, this is actually really sweet. Phoenix speaks with Adam, thanking him for leading Phoenix to take down Knull. And Wolverine and Jean sort of kind of like flirt until she friend zones him, which is classic Wolverine and Jean Grey stuff, especially when Scott's surprisingly missing. Through Jean and Emma, it's alluded that Emma has a secret relationship with someone who was at the Hellfire Gala. And I only think it's Tony Stark, Iron Man, because of their interactions being just so flirtatious in the game.
Wealth, good looks, business acumen. We'd make quite the power couple.
The game developers for this game are always listening to the fans. They added that beef between Moon Knight and Dracula for Moon Knight wanting his money back, so I would not be surprised if it is Tony and Emma. Temma. I named them that. I'm sure someone else has come up with a name because it's not hard to merge Tony and Emma. And that's it for my little breakdown of Marvel Rivals Season 3. We only get so much time to write about this bad boy, but I've been playing it so much, nightly and daily. And though I do really love Phoenix, you guys know I main Sue Storm, and I will never change. Comment down below your thoughts on Marvel Rivals Season 3. Are you ready for Season 3.5? Will we get Blade? Because I am. And a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Cameron, who supports us at the executive producer level. Follow me at Lulu_Clemons. Subscribe to all channels in the new Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Go play Marvel Rivals!